Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be taking a look into a significant severe weather event potentially across for a lot of areas like the Ohio Valley, the Appalachian Mountains, the Carolinas. It's for a lot of places, even for portions of the Midwest or the Mississippi Valley as well. And as you can see there in the thumbnail that I've created, before you start clicking on here, yeah, there's a very large slight risk area. And that wasn't like that before on last night's update, which is pretty crazy. And injuries, weather predictions, welcome to the live stream. Do you think it would always be bad still? Uh, it just depends of when the storms develop, really. Severn, Illinois is the area to an area to keep an eye on, but Central over Illinois, the chances are much lower. But the better chance for severe weather in Illinois should stay, at least in the southern portions here, which we'll take a look into the SPC outlook. Let's take a look into this evening here. Um, I'm gonna try. I'm also gonna try to pull up the chat onto my phone here. You guys won't see it on my screen, but I'll read your questions. I also do have a couple questions I want to cover on Twitter here, which I'll review those questions in a little bit. And okay, so I got it on my phone here. I'm gonna put it right here. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's first get started with the this evening's here severe weather outlook. We have three different areas of marginal risk areas. You got one in North Carolina, Virginia. You got another one in northern Illinois, northern Indiana, northwestern Ohio, so very far southern tip of Michigan. You got another one up into the northern plains here. Now the main threats are going to be the tornado threat's not really there, but the damaging winds, and there could be some hail as well. But it's tomorrow that we're really focused on, and for a lot of people's questions here. So we got a very large slack risk area. This includes portions of Kentucky, southern Illinois, central and southern Indiana, most of Ohio, southwestern Pennsylvania, west central and western Maryland, all of West Virginia, all of Virginia, a very southern tip of Delaware, most of North Carolina, central and northern South Carolina, most of Kentucky, and northeastern Tennessee. There's also marginal risk in central Mississippi and southern Alabama and portions of the panhandle of Florida. Now, the tornado threat is there, got a very large 2%, so the threat's not that there because the wind profiles are just not really quite there. However, damaging winds or hail are the threats to really keep an eye on here, and that's pretty much for everybody in the risk area, in the slight risk area in there. And we're not finished yet. We got day 3 to keep an eye on as well. We got slight risk for severe storms across most of Kentucky, most of Tennessee, far northern Alabama, ports of northeastern Arkansas, very southern tip of Illinois here, and southeastern Missouri. All threats are on the table at this point. There could be a couple tornadoes, but the primary threat's really damage and winds. There could be some hail in there as well. But let's focus on day 2 now. A lot of people's questions is the reasoning for uh, my forecast here. Now, this is likely going to change some again here. I plan on to change a few things here, but I'm not going to do it during this live stream here. This is the uh, I was looking onto 18Z model runs here. So very noticeable there. I still have that enhanced risk for severe storms across central and northern Kentucky, central and southern Indiana, and even for southwestern Ohio. And as you can see there's a very large slight risk area just like the SPC. Now most people's questions um, are the reason why I do not have an enhanced risk for some of these areas like Ohio, West Virginia, portions of Maryland, Pennsylvania on Twitter. I'm going to tell you guys that just in a moment. Let's also take a look into my day 3 outlook very quickly. I have an enhanced risk for severe storms anywhere from central Arkansas through northern Mississippi, central and western Tennessee, and then into central Kentucky here. Really, the primary threats damage winds here. There could be some hail, and there could be a couple spit up tornadoes. I have a couple questions here. I think day 3 could be a tornado outbreak. I don't think day 3 will be a tornado outbreak. We'll look over day 3, though. And I would not be surprised if the SPC issues a slight risk for Central Indiana. I'm in Illinois on Wednesday. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely possible there. But let's get started to what everybody is really questioning here is why do I have an enhanced risk for Southern Indiana, Central Northern Kentucky, and Southwestern Ohio? We're going to take a look at 3 different models here. And let's take a look here with the precipitation here, because this is what's really going to get everybody. So as you can see here, very noticeable already. This is 9Z, so this is about, I think this is 5 a.m. You got storms in the morning across portions of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and that's the marginal risk that the SPCs have highlighted for tonight. So here's 12Z, so this is getting into the morning hours here. I think this is about 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., something like that. I think it's 9 a.m. But anyways, this is what this is what's really going to be hard to forecast here. Is the coverage of showers and thunderstorms in the morning here, because everybody is thinking about an enhanced risk for these areas right in here. That's why I've been seeing in here is possibility of enhanced risk, while my enhanced risk area is rough draft in here. So I want you guys the problem is here, if you really want a big severe weather event here, you don't want storms, showers of storms in the morning, because that's going to make the atmosphere a little bit more stable here. As you can see, those showers of storms does come through earlier today. Then it seems like it can recover. There could be a couple isolated showers of thunderstorms. Some of them might be strong. As you can see here by the updraft helicity here started to pop up there. And and this is when we get to the evening hours here. So right now, your atmosphere is at this point pretty much stable here. There's not a lot of storms, as you can also see here. Is back into Missouri, you actually do have some storms available. It doesn't look like they'll stay for long, but did you see that? Bam! Look at that. This is why I have an enhanced risk, because there has not been any storms. Oh, whoops, went a little too far there. There has not been any storm action across some of these areas in here. So the atmosphere here is loaded. There's a cap in place during most of the day, but you got very steep mid-level lap rates here. Someone's also mentioned about weak updrafts. I highly doubt weak updrafts though, because when you look into the composite reflectivity, there's not really weak updrafts in these areas of here. Those storms blow up fairly quickly as that cap starts to break. And I also do believe that the models are a little too slow with this here. On the last event, they were too slow. I think they're a little too slow with this event as well, because looking to some other people's forecasts at SPC still calling the timing might be a little past midnight, and that's what some other TV meteorologists I've seen as well in my local TV station. They're also been showing a very similar solution here. Now, it seems like it might die down a little bit, but they can still contain a chance for some damage winds here. That's really the reason why I have an enhanced risk region there. It's mainly for the damage of winds here, but let's also look into something else here. Um, let's look into the NAM here. Um, so let's go ahead and get this. Let's get into more of near Tuesday morning. Again, you have a round of showers of thunderstorms here early in the morning. And it seems like they really start to stick around, and you still got showers of thunderstorms there still around. But then as you get to later in the day, like in Ohio, the air is pretty. pretty much stable up here. It's a little bit more unstable down here because I'm pretty sure the atmosphere is probably able to recover a little bit quicker with those daytime heating hours. But it's also not the impressive fat line I was talking about here, so this may indicate some wake up drafts here. But let's take a look. Oh yeah, also they hit some capping it here as well, where if I took a look into photographs, and as well they hit some capping, so those storms will die down. Now let's take a look to the herd model. I'm pretty much waiting on for the 0Z model run here. And let's take a look into the composite reflectivity. Now let me warn you guys here. The herd model overdoes stuff. Let me show you guys a really good example here because it has overdone multiple severe weather events in the past here. Like, remember that moderate risk in Illinois? That was the reason of that's because we had a big massive rain in Illinois, and that made the air a little bit more stable. Now, a couple tornadoes did happen, but it was not as bad of what the models were showing for the forecast. They did not show that area of thunderstorms there. And as we kind of continue on here, and someone was also bitching about the reason why I do not. They were suggesting a slight risk across southern Michigan. I don't keep in mind the herd model overdoes things. It really does here. And as you can see here, a lot of people on Twitter were talking about this here, about these storms here in Michigan there, and they could blow up to be supercells. Look at all those showers of thunderstorms during the day here. You know, there could be some significant ones as you can see here, but that's just only two storms, and that's more of a slight risk day than an enhanced risk day. And there could be a couple storms that could follow up with that, but I caught it down in the same time because with this big massive rain, the atmosphere should be more stable. So I kind of doubt that these storms here will be able to develop behind it, to be honest with you, realistically. Now, here comes your front here. You've got, here, let me actually turn on something else here. I don't think I have that. I think it's a severe weather. Reflectivity, yeah, this is the one we want right here. So, this is with the updraft helicity here. If some of you guys do not know, with updraft helicity, if it's kind of strong, you see these black shades here by these storms here. As you can see, it shows them some very high updraft helicity there. So there could be a chance for some very large hail for some of those storms in there. But again, this is more of a slight risk day due to the fact I think this is kind of not realistic with that big mass of rain kind of in the way earlier in the day. So at this point, the atmosphere should be pretty much stable. So this is 2Z. So this is more in Eastern time about I think it's about 9 o'clock here Eastern Standard Time, 8 or 9 o'clock, and look at all these storms here. Now this is very unrealistic. Look at all these updraft helicity values. This is pretty much completely different, pretty much than what the other models were showing. They were not really showing this here, and I think this point here, the atmosphere should be more stable. So, and this is definitely overdone as well here. I mean, that's very significant if that verifies. But where you haven't seen any storms developing here, in these areas in here, there has not been any storms. So that atmosphere there is just loaded with energy here. And these storms here are, wherever it blows up here, it's going to blow up very quickly. So this is the next hour. Look, all these storms that develop in 1 hour. And here comes your front right here. So your cold front. So as it reaches to these storms here, these here will become clusters here. And these here can bring in some damaging winds and for some decent sized hail here. And you can also see here, these storms also die down over here. Meanwhile, over here, where there's not been any storms earlier in the day, they're actually a little bit more organized, and they will be more organized than these storms way over here. So I cannot imagine in the next run here, if it shows somewhere like this here, it'll be showing probably something pretty impressive here in the next hour here or so, for the next couple hours on the 0Z run, which in my time, it's going to be happening in about hours though, which is currently in the 23Z. So that's pretty much the reason why here in the pretty much all the greens there. The lap rates are very steep. The Mixillary Cape is pretty high, with Cape values between 1,000 to 2,000. It's you know, and where you have those now, the scenario will be very different if the showers and thunderstorm coverage is much less, which I do have a tool for that during my severe weather live stream coverages, tornado coverages. I have a something like YouTubers don't use during their live streams, I believe. These are SPC mesoscale analysis. So this is where you get your watches. This is where they look into. So this is currently the atmosphere right now. And what it has your Cape values, it has mid-level lap rates, wind shear, composites, supercell composites, significant tornado parameters. It has a lot of stuff here. And and this updates every minute. So this is a very helpful tool to use here. And now if we see much less coverage of showers and thunderstorms earlier in the day than what the models are currently showing, enhanced risk will be more likely at that point. Probably will be issued, but and I have a lot of confidence in my forecast at this point here, but I think most of the uncertainties will be more into these areas in here. And again, I plan on changing this some more, so you probably will see me expand the slide crest a little bit more to the northeast, maybe reach it to the Michigan state line and all that stuff. I do plan to do that, but I'll update this map here tomorrow. We'll see what the SPC says about it here. Let's go ahead and move on to the next day here for severe storms, and I'll give you kind of my reasoning here. So let's take a look at the NATE 3KM here. We're going to look at two different model runs because this is kind of interesting here. We'll also look at two of the medium range models as well. And I think I'm cutting in and out, which I do apologize for that. And we'll answer this question real quick. Andrew's weather predictions. He's thinking that there might be like a tornado outbreak or something in Illinois due to the triple point. The problem is, there's going to be a cap there. Pretty much for a lot of these areas, there's going to be a cap there, so it's really going to prevent storms to develop. So later in the time frame, your cold front's going to be more down here in this area in here. So now I'm not 100% sure about triple point, but you know we'll see what would happen here. I believe your low pressure system will be passing by pretty much off your screen here for the Great Lakes region with a front here. And there's going to be another round of thunderstorms here. So let's pass that event. Here comes your next line of storms here. Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about Wednesday. Well, so your low pressure system's way up here. And you got some pretty good storms out here. Especially for this one out here that's a low. But what the problem with this here is that these storms are along the cold front. So the tornado threat is going to be much lower along the cold front than it's going to be not on the cold front. Really. And so if we kind of continue on with this, your cold fronts right here, as you can see, your updraft velocity values are kind of crazy. And excuse me. And models have been really indicating there's a good agreement there be a cluster of thunderstorms that do develop in Arkansas. Let's actually focus on Arkansas a little bit because the models are showing something pretty crazy down in Arkansas. But with my enhanced risk area, which I'll show you guys again, it's pretty widespread here. I think what the scenario here is there's going to be a squall line of storms that come through, mainly damaging winds. There will probably be some hail, maybe a few spin of tornadoes along the line. And again, I have some pretty good confidence with the forecast here. I have a lot of confidence. Here's the Super Soak composite for kind of around Wednesday evening. And, it's actually showing some decent Super Soak composite values, but I kind of doubted with the solution here because I believe the atmosphere would be more stable here. So, and meanwhile over here, the atmosphere is going to be pretty loaded here. So, yeah, that's kind of my thinking there. And here we go here. This is what everybody's kind of focused on here. Yeah, there's a 28 in Arkansas here. Let's get the forecast sounding. It's going to be ridiculous here. Yeah, it's not showing PDS tornado on the possible hazard type. However, look into the effective layer, STP, on the bottom right corner. There's a very high chance if a tornado develops in that area, it'll be an EF4 plus. But this is just what could happen here. But there's no storms out ahead of this, so was predicted by the model. But if any supercell develops out ahead of this cold front, there's going to be some problems here. There's probably a chance there could be a EF2 plus tornado out there. But if it's only storms on the cold front, there's not too much to worry about. Really, all you have to worry about is damage winds and some hail. There could be a couple spin ups along with it again. If we kind of continue on, so my enhanced risk is basically for some of these areas right in here. And I think this will be more of an organized line of storms here than because when I look into the NAM model, it doesn't really show much of cluster of thunderstorms up here, but it shows a really good cluster of storms up to the north. So I'm kind of averaging things out here at the prediction here with these line of storms here. Oh yeah, here's the significant tornado parameters again, showing pretty high values here. But again, I got a feeling that the atmosphere there is probably going to be more stable at that point. It's also showing higher values, and there's also mountainous terrain that could probably mess up a little bit of the atmosphere a little bit. Just a little bit, not by much, but we'll see about that, though. But that'll be something to really watch, though. Yeah, look at these significant tornado parameters. There's a 6.2, which I think this is overdone. And we'll get in there. 6.2 though, that's very high. And yeah, there is a lot of energy that's going on in the area in the same time frame as well. But let's also look into the lift index here. This is also gives me indication if any storms like develops or something like that, Uh, I'm losing my words here. These storms could blow up very quickly, basically, here, and they could be tall thunderstorms. In here, with my event here, where I have the enhanced risk region, there's a negative 10 degrees Celsius, while over here, both areas are very favorable. When you go over here, where there's not been any storms for pretty much the better part of the day, they're probably going to be more intense here. And look at these stiff, I mean, a negative 16, that's kind of ridiculous, though. But any storms that kind of come up over here, they're going to be, well, things like these storms here can last for a while here. So that's why, for one thing, it's a pretty large area because I got a feeling these storms here can last for a long time, especially looking to the lift index here. Showing really high values here, so it might actually last into the next day here, but I think they may die down some more in the morning hours, so. But yeah, guys, I may have another update on this tomorrow here. Again, on my day 2 forecast, I'll have some changes in here, but I'm really just waiting on the herd um, 0Z run to see what it'll show. I'm kind of interested here, but again, this enhanced risk might get expanded, but we'll see about that, and probably same thing for the slight risk and margin risk too. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end well. let's not end it here yet. If you guys got any questions, you can go ahead and put it in the chat here. If you also, if you guys like this live stream, you can hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you never miss an upload. And again, if you guys get any questions, you can go and put in chat. Um, last minute questions before I end the stream here. Currently have 4 people watching. And really, the only person that's been chatting is Andrew's weather predictions here. And again, like he said in the chat here, like if Illinois could still be bad here and all that stuff. Give you guys a couple minutes to put in your questions here. And Andrew's weather predictions also talk about triple point. Um, and again, with the triple point, I don't think the atmosphere is going to be, well, we could probably take a look into that. Well, actually, the lift index kind of really tells you. I believe your low pressure system is going to be pretty too far to the north, and most severe weather is probably staying further south, far south of the triple point. But if all this air mass gets close to triple point, that'd be really bad because that dramatically increases the severe weather threat potential. But things could change. You know, let's take a look at the mixed layer cape here. Really, for mixed layer cape, you really need over 500 to 1,000, and you'll be good for severe weather potential. But we're kind of doubling that here, and as you can see here, the instability's not that bad over here. But where storms haven't blown up here, it's nearly 3,000. And where you had storms earlier in the day, it's still favorable, but I think it'll be not that favorable though for that area. But it just depends on the showers, the thunderstorm coverage a little bit earlier. Virgil Edwards, welcome to the stream. So, do you think the SPC is being too conservative? Um, I honestly do not know what conservative means here. Yeah, I'm honestly not that smart at school though. Yeah, I don't really think the SPC is being really too conservative, in my opinion. They're just playing it safe and stuff. It's really all they're doing. But here's the channel screen here. Yeah, I don't think conservative for the SPC. I don't think they really are. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this severe weather update live stream. If you guys had missed this live stream, if you got any questions, you can put in the comment section down below. And we're going to answer you guys questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow.